Okay, where are we starting from?
All right, so we're at our first stop, which is
Somewhere.
Steven's Restaurant.
Yep, somewhere west of Barrie. We're on our way to Kicking Back
Alpaca
Alpaca Farm. Whoa!
Just getting some grub before we go.
Because we can't be angry or hangry while we're meeting alpacas.
Eating alpacas.
Oh my god.
I really hope they don't eat alpacas there. We'll have to ask.
Yeah, very excited.
All right, catch you on the flip side. Hey there, Erin here. Welcome back to Alpaca in My Bags, the podcast that covers ethical travel and tourism controversies. We're back with another bonus episode for you, and I'm so pumped for this one. So it's been a running joke between our producer Katie and I that we've been creating this podcast called Alpaca in My Bags, but neither of us have ever met an alpaca. So a few weeks ago, we went on a little field trip to make up for this indiscretion. We went to an Ontario alpaca farm called Kicking Back Alpaca Ranch. We got some good alpaca footage and some good alpaca sounds, and we're about to share it with you.
Okay, Erin, so tell us about what we did that day. Where do we start?
Okay, so we knew that there were alpaca farms in Ontario. There's actually quite a lot of them, more than you would imagine. I've done some research into this now. There's an absurd amount. And the reason they think is because our climate is good for alpacas, and they're a great animal to farm. They're great for hobby farms, but they also produce really great, what is it called?
Fiber?
Fiber.
Like wool.
Wool. But they call it fiber. And this is really valuable and can make great artisan products.
Mm-hmm.
And alpacas are just really awesome animals, so there's a reason people love to farm them. So I guess it's a newer trend that people are going to alpaca farms to visit alpacas. Not long ago, I saw an article pop up on Blog TO about how you could walk alpacas.
Yeah, and that's kind of what sparked all of this, because we were like, what?
Yeah.
You can do that?
That definitely sparked some interest because we were like, ooh, those are cool pics, like walking an alpaca. And this is another thing about alpacas, you can harness train them. And we actually learned, we'll talk about this a little bit further into the episode as well, but alpacas can be used as therapy animals. Mm-hmm. So they're really friendly and they're great animals to visit.
Okay, it's happening.
Good morning. We alpaca'd our bags today because we're going to an alpaca farm.
Woo!
So I'm here with Katie.
Hey guys, it's me.
We're doing a 2-hour journey north of Toronto to a farm. It's called Kicking Back Alpaca Ranch. Katie found these guys on the internet and we reached out to them and they said, sure, come meet our alpacas. So Katie, tell us how many alpacas they have on their farm.
Okay, so apparently, I'm driving while I'm doing this, but apparently they have about 67 alpacas, from young and old, including their oldest alpaca, who is, I think they said 16 years old, and her name is Grandma Almond. So yeah, we're pretty excited to meet them, and also what's really cool about this ranch is that they are an ethically sustainable ranch. So they have all sorts of really cool things that they told me about in their email to make sure that this farm isn't super wasteful and that the alpacas are being treated well. So I'm really excited to learn more about them and pet some alpacas.
Yes, I'm hoping there's a baby alpaca around, but we're going to take you guys on this journey with us and you'll learn all about alpacas.
Okay, but Erin, I have some questions for you.
Okay, what are your questions?
I have some questions. Okay. Well, first, what are your expectations? What do you think an alpaca is going to be like?
Honestly, my only expectation is to snuggle an alpaca. I have heard that they're like really friendly, cuddly, warm animals and like really happy to hang out with humans. I follow a lot of Instagram accounts of pet alpacas, mainly in Australia. So I'm just imagining that, like a snuggly alpaca. Yeah. My other expectation is to learn about alpacas because I honestly don't know much about them.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the farm people can tell us about why they have alpacas, what drew them to alpacas. Also, like, what is the difference between an alpaca and a llama? I don't know.
We'll find out soon. We're about 30 minutes away. We're just in the car. We stopped at, what was it, Stephen's Restaurant for a little bite to
Stephen's
eat?
Restaurant, yes.
Shout out to Stephen's Restaurant.
It's pretty funny to take some city people out of the city and put them in the country. It's quite different.
Oh, also, you should tell you who's in our back seat.
Yeah, so we have a friend along today. His name is Justin. Hi, Justin.
Hi, my name's Justin.
Justin is a cinematographer. He's really talented. So if you need a cinematographer in Toronto, hire Justin.
Yeah, because hopefully he's going to be doing some cool, like, exclusive content for, like, you know, when we're really big.
Oh yeah, we're collecting some content for you guys. Like, eventually there will be some video available, mostly alpaca content. Yeah, so like the last 10 minutes before showing up to the farm were like so nerve-wracking. I was so nervous because like I had placed so much emphasis on this visit. I was like expecting the most amazing thing in the world, and like it panned out, but it was very tense, like going up that road and knowing that we were about to meet alpacas.
Erin, you were hyping me up so much. I'm like driving the car and all of a sudden my hands start shaking and I'm like, why am I nervous? Why is this happening? I just went to meet some animals. And I was like, yes, let's do this.
And when we pulled up, it was, okay, at first we didn't see the alpacas, and then we pulled up to park, and suddenly these alpacas were popping their heads out of this barn, and slowly, like more heads were popping up around the corner, and next thing we knew, like all these alpacas were walking
there was like
towards us.
20 in this like little area. They all came out of the barn and they were like, hello.
It was amazing.
And then we freaked out for a while.
All right, according to the GPS, we are now 7 minutes away from the alpaca farm. How are you feeling?
I'm so pumped.
In 600 meters, turn right onto West Backline.
So close, so close, so close. Do you think there will be alpacas, like, visible the second we're pulling up?
I really hope so. I would love to just turn the corner and just see alpacas right there.
Yes.
Just be like, oh my god! I just freak out.
Next right onto West Backline.
Oh, is this the moment?
Yeah.
This could be... Oh, sorry, I'm slamming on the brakes.
According to the GPS, we're 1 minute away.
Try not to, like, drive too fast so I don't miss it. We're like, there it is! And I'm like, oh, shit!
Okay, it's incoming.
Okay, you're
600
hyping me
meters.
up so much.
600 meters.
Your destination will be on the left.
I'm so hyped up. I'm, like, nervous. I'm, like, nervous. Okay, this has got to be it right here, right? No.
I even put on makeup to meet these alpacas.
Same.
Like, this is important. I gotta look my best. Okay, it's coming.
Oh, this is it, for sure.
Yes. Yeah, this is totally it.
No Wait, there's no alpacas outside.
Your destination is on
Maybe
the
it's
left.
too cold.
Oh. Okay.
Wow.
It's so nice over here, but where are the alpacas? How did they fit all 67 in that barn over there? So tiny.
Oh my gosh. Is that an alpaca?
Yes!
What if it's a llama?
That,
No, that's an alpaca.
but behind it!
Oh,
They're so cute. Oh my God. Oh, I didn't even turn off the car properly.
And we interacted with the alpacas through the fence.
Mm-hmm.
And I was laughing. I was thinking, like, this must happen every time people come, like, before they even meet, like, the people who own the farm.
Yeah,
They're
Carolyn
just
and
up at
Doug.
the fence. Carolyn and Doug are probably just used to looking out the window and seeing people, like, at the fence. Oh, I guess our 12 o'clock is here.
Yeah. So we freaked out for a bit, and then they came out of the house and greeted us, and then told us pretty much everything there is to know about the farm and all the little alpacas behind us.
Answered our questions,
Mm-hmm.
and then the excitement really began.
Super muddy. Poking their heads out over there. Oh my God. They're so cute. Hello. Hello, friends. Hello.
Look how fluffy they are.
This guy's not having it. That's because he's a llama. He don't care.
Is he a llama? I think he is.
I think because his snoot's bigger.
Yeah. I honestly... Oh my god,
They're so beautiful. Hello, friends.
Look at this little guy.
Hello, friends.
Look at him walking.
Yes, come to us. Hello. Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh my god, they're all coming.
Oh my god.
Look at his teeth sticking out.
You're so cute.
Oh my god.
I can't handle it. Hi. Hello.
Oh my god.
Hello. So
Look at their little faces.
so overwhelmed. They're so cute.
I can't get over this guy's teeth. Oh my god.
Hi. Hi. Hi.
Welcome.
Thanks. I'm Katie. Nice to meet you.
I'm Carolyn.
Sorry
How
we're
are
a
you?
little late.
Hi.
Nice to meet
Justin.
you.
Hi. Nice to meet you. This is my husband, Doug.
Hello.
Hello.
Do you mind if we record you guys?
No, that's
Okay.
fine.
Thanks.
Personal
Yeah.
today.
They
So
all poke
this
their
here
heads
group,
out.
that's our boys. We keep all of our males over in that barn.
Okay.
So the ones closest that you were just looking at, that's last year's little boys.
Oh.
Plus 2 old boys who were 12 and 16.
Yeah.
And the old boys just sort of teach them their manners and behavior and what to do with being an alpaca.
Okay.
The next group are 2 and 3-year-old males.
Uh-huh.
And they're just learning to get stronger. And then the farthest group is our breeding males.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't put the younger ones in until they're big enough physically to stand up for breeding rights.
And emotionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Occasionally we'll move one over there and it just doesn't work out. You move them back, you wait a year, you move.
So how many of you got? You said you had
60 right now.
60. Okay. That's crazy.
So the black fella right there, he'll be 16 this year.
Okay.
And he was actually a registered pet therapy alpaca for his previous owner.
Oh.
She is retired, so she gave him to us because she knew that we did hospital and nursing home visits and things. So because he's so well trained, she gave him to us.
Oh.
Ozzy. He actually has his own Facebook page that his owner had set up for him and everything. In his day, he was really awesome. Like, he used to go to the mental health hospital wards. He used to do kids with cancer, the whole bit.
Yeah.
He's now at the point, his last visit we went out on, it was more like, if you want to see me, you come to me. It used to be he would scope the room who needed him the most and he would focus on one person and go. But last visit he was like, no, you come to me. So I think he's had enough of the,
He's seen it all.
yeah.
How much do they weigh?
Full grown are 150 to 180 pounds. We
Okay.
have a couple that are over that.
Ozzy is so curious.
Oh, we're not coming for you, boy. But he's typical alpaca in the sense that if I were to walk over there now, he would walk away because he doesn't want me being close to him. But once his halter is put on him, then he's totally in trained mode. He's
Yeah.
going to just stand there. But alpacas, they're very gentle, they're very curious, but they also prefer to just be this far away from you. Like if you, they know how long your arm is, and if you stay just that far away, they're happy.
Yeah. Yeah, we were going to ask what their personalities are kind of like.
They're like, so Ozzy was trained for this pet therapy thing, and because his personality was so laid back and easygoing, not all alpacas can do that. I mean, it has to have that personality on its own. It's not something that you can train every alpaca to do. All of ours are trained to be put on a halter and handled if they need to have a needle or see the vet or go out of the farm for whatever reason. They can all be set up and put on a halter. But a lot of them, it's just they do it, but they're not thrilled with it. And we have some that like going for walks. Our nieces will take some of them out for walks when they're out visiting.
Yeah.
But others just, they tolerate it. Yeah.
Like any type of animal, they all have their own personality. So you talk about what's an alpaca like? Well, it's sort of the average, and then there's always, ones that are either side of that.
Yeah.
Some that are friendlier, some that are less friendly. Generally, they're
Cool.
just curious and shy. They want to know what you're doing. They just don't want you too close and bothering them. It's sort of like, what are you doing? But don't bother me.
Do they
one
all
of those
have
things.
names?
Yep, all ours do.
All of them. How do you remember everyone's names?
How does a teacher remember all the?
Okay. Yeah,
just,
true.
You deal with them all the time. You get used to them. And,
When we bought our first 2, that's what I said to the guy, and he happened to be a teacher, and he says, just do. So
Who were your first ones? What were their names?
Bert and Temprano. We still have Temprano. He's the big white male who's probably inside trying to make sure there's no food left for anybody else. He's our first one, and then Bert passed away.
Oh.
But they live about 15 to 20 years in North America. That's
Yeah.
an average. You'll hear of some that are older, but most of the ones that are older are likely getting help. They're getting a mash because they don't have teeth that they can chew and eat. They're probably wearing jackets in the winter time to make sure they're warm because their fiber's too short now to really do much for them. And we were lucky. We don't have any right now that we've had to coat for the winter. We have several that are getting up to the 15-year range. We have a girl who's almost 16 and she still had a baby last year, still going strong, overweight, no health problems at all.
Wow.
So they're all like people. I mean, some people can live to 100 no problem.
Yeah.
Some people die at 60. So alpacas are pretty much the same.
So the ladies are over there?
Yeah, so that's where we're going to go.
Nice.
The boys' barn is typical old bank barn. It's dark. It's got a low ceiling. It's not fun for visiting. It's just dull.
The ladies get the nice
They
barn.
brought us to the ladies' barn.
Yeah.
So we learned that they keep them separate. The lady alpacas are kept separate from the male alpacas. And so we were going to go visit the ladies because they have a barn that's more comfortable for visitors. So that was super fun, going into the barn and then like being that much closer. And then it got even better when Carolyn and Doug were like, "Are you comfortable with us letting some loose?" And in my heart, I was like, yes, 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 yes. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Just like walking into the barn and seeing all these alpaca turn their heads and like looking at us, and we were like, oh my god. It was just like so much cuteness all at once.
Did go over the fence. So. We bought 2 for the barn, and then we bought 4 more, and then we decided they were nicer than people 24 hours a day.
Look at all their little faces. Hello.
And here, these are all last year's little girl babies.
Is that them making little humming sounds?
Alpaca moms are very protective, very nurturing, but they don't share the pellets or the food. They just can, and so we can put the feed in there for the little ones. They still get it, and the moms don't. Because the moms... Silver Streak is getting just a wee bit too big for that, aren't you, girl?
Wow.
Yes, you're going to have to start getting up on your... standing up for your food.
Hey. Got their little hums going on. I heard that they like squeak.
They hum.
Yeah.
They have... There. If they feel threatened, they have a high-pitched alarm call. So if they see something that they perceive as a threat, the neighbor's dog comes through the field or something, or a coyote, or anything they don't want or they don't understand, they have a high-pitched alarm call. So what happens is the alpacas will, if it happens when they're in the barn, they generally all just run outside.
Okay.
If they're outside, they will look for whoever is making the noise to see which direction they're focusing in, and then decide whether it's a threat to run or not. Do you want to come out, Tiny? You look like you want to come out.
Their hums are so cute.
You're okay?
Yeah. The heck did
Do
something
they know
so
you,
large?
Would you say?
Do they know us?
Yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
compared to random people?
Is everyone okay if we let her out?
Oh yeah.
Tiny.
No.
Tiny, you want to come out? Tiny, come on. Tiny is not typical alpaca. Oh, and Mama Yaz. Okay, Mama Yaz, you can come out. Tiny, you can come out, Tiny. Look at Tiny. Couple more babies want to come out. Silver.
Oh my god. They're so cute. I can't handle it. It's so cute. This guy was just trying to laugh. Did you touch her? Oh.
So soft.
Yaz is another one who's not typical. She, from the start, has been one that we can handle.
Yeah.
We've had her in the house for visits. We've taken her to the nursing homes, the whole bit.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's so cute.
So when we shear, we do it right here.
Tiny. We were in the barn for like, what, an hour and a half?
At least.
Yeah. And the whole time, Carolyn and Doug were just like feeding us so much information about their farm and like telling us everything there is to know about alpacas. It was insane. There's so much information. You would never guess.
I'm glad we recorded all of that because I was so overwhelmed with happiness and excitement that I feel like I missed half of what they were saying because I couldn't focus. I was like, oh my gosh, alpaca, I have to touch that alpaca. Like, I felt like a seagull, like with his head bobbing back and forth.
I had this obsession of trying to record their little hums and their crunching. They're eating hay.
You got some of that, right?
Yes.
Okay, just listen to this for a second so you know what we're talking about.
Catching all their little munches.
Just sniffing at your
Little microphone?
microphone. That's Dusty, and she was born 5 weeks premature.
Okay.
And we know exactly what date our animals are bred, so we knew for sure that she was premature. Plus, she had no suck reflex. She couldn't stand. She was totally just a limp rag. So we had to milk her mom out for a couple of feedings, and Doug tube fed it or syringe fed it to her. It was a couple of days before she was up and on her own. And
oh man!
so
She's
this year we didn't
now.
rebreed her mom. Her mom put so much into her babies, and that it's ideally a baby, a cria, should double its birth weight in the first month, and that's just on mom's milk. So they go from 16 to 20 pounds up to 40 pounds in 1 month.
Oh man,
So
that's huge.
and mom's already pregnant again generally, so there's a lot of pressure on moms to.
Can you imagine just waking up every morning and looking outside your farmhouse and there's just alpacas outside staring at you? They're like, good morning.
Amazing. And it's really cool how, so Carolyn and Doug have taught themselves everything about alpacas. So they take care of everything from like the medical care, examining the animals to make sure they're all healthy, to bringing them to the vet, to shearing them. They're certified shearers, which I didn't even realize was a thing, but they're certified in shearing. So they shear them all themselves. And Carolyn does a lot of work developing the fiber as well. And she actually makes some products herself with the fiber, which is really cool. She also told us that she is certified in, so there's different types of fiber, and some fiber is of better quality. So there's, I guess, a scale on which they judge the quality of a fiber. And she's certified in identifying the different qualities of fiber.
And then also, so Carolyn does all like, she does so much.
I was really into, so one of her sustainability approaches is to repurpose clothing. So she told us that she'll go to a secondhand store and pick up all these donated clothes, and she'll redecorate them using alpaca wool. In some cases, she'll take a scarf and she'll add a layer of alpaca fiber to make it warmer and to add a different look to it. I thought that was such a neat idea.
That was like the cutest idea too.
Yeah.
Did we forget you, Yas? Hi. Did you think we forgot you?
They're so soft. So you breed them for their wool?
They're sheared once a year. And then we grade it, class it, get it all ready. They're different. Like Zora, her fiber is so coarse now that it just goes right into the rug bag. I don't worry about grading it or classing it. I know she's coarse from top to bottom, so it just goes into making rugs. Whereas with the other ones, like Yas High, you can see sometimes the neck fiber is shorter. So when Doug shears them, he does the main body in one piece, and we wrap it, and then he'll do the neck, and we put that in a bag marked neck, and then he'll do the legs, and we put that in a bag marked legs. Because if the fiber is all the same quality, length, grade, that's great. But if it's not and you throw it all in one bag, you can't pull those little bits out of the... So by doing it in sections, it works much better. So there's a purpose for everything. Like the really fine alpaca would go into things like ladies' shawls or scarves, stuff that's going to be on the bare skin. Animals that are coarse, like Zora, they go into things like insoles, duvets, rugs, things that have a good use that benefit from the alpaca fiber, but you don't want it on your bare skin.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to mention is like, this was what really impressed me. And I touched on this before about how it was clear that they are passionate about what they're doing in their email. That was so obvious too in meeting them. I could not believe like they knew the name of each alpaca, who that alpaca's parents were. They knew that alpaca's like behavior and personality.
Their grandparents.
And it was like they had 60 alpaca children that they cared equally about. It was so amazing.
It was pretty amazing.
I know in your email you're talking a bit about the like how the farm is ethical and all that stuff. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Okay, we don't use any medications or pre-wormings, deworming stuff unless there's a cause. And we've never had a parasite issue on our farm because we keep it clean. Within a 3-day period, all the manure is completely removed from the farm and taken way out the back. Water bowls are cleaned, floors are cleaned, so there's never anything left laying around for parasites to start. So we don't use anything to treat them. And we don't have a lot of health problems. Our hay is all locally grown. Everything we can do locally, we do. We take our compost out there and then move it out to the back, and then after a while it's all put back onto the land again. In our business of making the clothing, everything is also the same.
Yeah.
We're using 100% cotton thread, which is really hard to get a hold of. I'm finding I've got my black and my beige, but trying to get it in big quantities, cones, is really hard. We don't add any polyesters or anything to it. So everything that's waste, so it'll be easier to explain when we're inside. So if I'm making a vest, so the pieces that I cut out for the armholes and that, I will keep that, and then maybe when I'm making a shawl, I will just put that on, like make spots on the shawl or something, so we don't throw anything out. And the few bits that actually do end up as garbage are totally into the compost, and that's it. There's no reason why we can't.
Awesome.
So we've had a garbage pail in the studio since January 2018, just a little white, and we haven't filled it yet. Because everything, we get our fiber back from the mill, she washes it and puts it into bats. We get it back, and the only thing is there's Scotch tape on it. So I've since found out that masking tape will compost.
And I know you get reused jackets for them in the winter?
Yes, if we have ones that need cold, some like skinny ones like her, you can see she's skinny just looking at her.
Yeah.
So sometimes they feel the cold more so than they should, and the older ones. So we have a store in town called Pennywise, and it's secondhand stuff. And we just go in there and we buy jackets. Doug, can you grab the bag at the bottom? I think there's some there.
Like human jackets?
Yeah. So we would go and we would buy XX large jackets or robes. You can buy alpaca jackets, same as you can dog jackets for like $75, $100.
Yeah.
But I can buy this.
Oh my God.
So that's a lady's bathrobe. So what we would do is we would put the front legs would go in here.
In the armholes?
In the armhole, so that's her front legs. And then you just zip it up the back. So now her bellies, they lose most of their heat through their belly. People lose it through their head, right?
Yeah.
That's why she always wear a winter hat. Alpacas lose it through their belly. So her belly's covered. If she's nursing, she's got more room here if the baby still needs to get under. And that's zipped up across her back. And she's nice and warm and toasty. And that cost me $3.
Wow.
I've used this several years. I can get a lot more years out of it. But the thing is, if it does fall apart, whatever,
Yeah.
I've saved it from going to the landfill this long and found a good use for it.
Yeah.
Instead of having the ones with the poly, whatever you call it. Yeah, so we do have one alpaca jacket that when we started. When we started, we knew nothing.
Yeah.
So, and because we weren't planning on doing this, we just wanted the ones for the resort to entertain the guests. we did everything we were told. You know, you have to have this, you have to do that. Then once we decided to learn, so that's a $75, $80 jacket. And the problem with this is, we have Kriyas that pull this. So Mama's wearing it, and the babies start. We come out in the morning, and Mom's just got this thing tripping on it, hanging all over her. So we sheared 1 year, and it snowed the next week.
Yeah.
So we closed them in, but still some of them were just feeling it. Like alpaca fiber is about 7 times warmer than sheep's wool. If you just put your fingers in there for a couple of minutes, you can feel the heat.
Yeah.
So they're hypoallergenic.
There's so much fur.
It's 7 times warmer than sheep's wool.
She's like, hey, wow. My hand is lost in your fur. I can't even see my fingers.
If you're working in the barn in the winter and it's cold, that's what you do. You just give them a massage for a few minutes and warm your hands up. So when they suddenly go from wearing 6 inches of that heat to being naked, and then the temperature drops to freezing, that's a big change for them. So like ones like Tiger, it would really affect her. She would have to have a jacket on.
Yeah.
This girl's got enough body fat on her that I don't think it would bother her too much.
They look pretty funny when they've been sheared.
Sorry?
I saw some photos of them when they've been sheared.
Oh, yeah.
They look like different animals.
They do. When we took our first 2, we bought them, and they had to stay at that farm because we weren't quite ready at our new farm for them. And had we not been there when they were sheared, I wouldn't have believed that they were the same alpacas we had bought, because they were young ones. So the young ones are always super fluffy.
So sweet.
And then to see them without it, it's just...
Erin, you're kind of speechless. What do you think so far?
I love them.
One thing that I was curious about, so Carolyn does a lot of stuff on the farm, and then Doug kind of takes care of all the breeding process. Mm-hmm. And as soon as they mentioned breeding, I think it was, realistically, it's obvious. Like, you have a 60 alpaca farm. Like, what else? It's obviously part of the business, but it just never really occurred to me before that. And so immediately, as soon as they say breeding, I'm thinking about, like, dog breeding and like puppy mills and like that type of thing. So I was really curious to know what they would say about it. And I don't know, I guess I just had this like skepticism in the back of my head about breeding in general. But it's really not the same thing at all. By any means. Like you can tell there's so much information they gave us about the whole breeding process and why they do it. And like you can tell I was questioning them a decent amount. Because I was like, I need to fully understand what this is in order to even be skeptical at all. And I really had no reason to be. It's not the same thing. I was impressed by how they vouch for who they're selling their alpacas to. Mm-hmm. They gave me a lot of really cool information about that and what their vetting process was kind of like and people they've turned away.
Yeah, there's clearly a lot of care in the way that they go about breeding. Mm-hmm. And it also, like, it's obvious that they're not breeding just to make money. Like they were saying, we breed to keep our personal, like, farm at around 60 alpacas. Mm-hmm. So it really depends on the needs of the farm. Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem like they're just, like, on a breeding spree.
Yeah, and any alpacas they're selling to somebody, they're really
carefully
checking them out. Yeah.
Which is important and good to know that they're making sure that those alpacas are going to the right people. Mm-hmm. I appreciated that Carolyn was like, oh, if I get the wrong sense from a person, there's no way. I just won't sell them an alpaca. I want to know for sure that they're giving them a good home.
Yeah.
They definitely take a lot of responsibility, which I think is very admirable and not always the case in farming. Mm-hmm. So it was good to see that.
So how does your, what does the breeding entail? Like how often will you breed an alpaca? And
you can talk for that for a minute.
Yeah.
I need a minute off.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
The gestation is 11 and a half months, so almost a year.
Yeah.
So we usually breed them June because we want babies around late June, early July. Mm-hmm. We don't want them too much earlier because it's still cold out and babies don't regulate their heat very well for the first few weeks. It takes them a little while. Mm-hmm. So we usually breed around mid-June.
Okay.
And they're born early June usually.
How often do you, like one lady, would she get bred?
We usually breed them every year.
Yeah?
Yeah, as long as they maintain their body condition, like these ones that, they won't get bred again, or if we think it's just a one-time thing, we'll give them a year off and let them get back in shape before we breed them again. But I think they're just getting older. And Now that they're not nursing, we can get the weight back on them, and then we'll just retire them. And they've done their bit for the business. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Now they can just live their life of luxury.
Yep. Just take it easy.
How many babies do you end up with every year?
It varies. We find when we start getting up around 75 alpacas, this barn starts getting a little crowded, so we don't want to go past that.
Yeah.
So we usually breed to get up to 75. So
Okay.
we're at 60, we would breed 15.
Yeah.
But then you sell some,
Yeah.
you know, and a few don't take, you know, there's always a couple every year that don't catch, or they lose it somewhere over the year.
So you may have answered this already, but I might have been overwhelmed by all the alpacas. But who do you sell them to? Like, are you vetting who you sell them to and everything?
Yep.
Just curious.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like first off, they're not pets.
Yeah.
And we don't sell them as pets. So if you come say, well, I want a little baby, you know, I saw it on YouTube, you know, this little baby going around for a walk
Yeah.
down on the beach, and that's what I want to do.
It's big in Australia, so we were going to ask you about that
Well, there's
too.
one in California that's the same.
Yeah.
And it's just not a good situation generally, especially with the males, because when they're young, they imprint on whoever they're around. You want them to imprint on other alpacas and learn that people are different, they're not the same. Well, if they're only around people, they imprint on people, and now they think people are the same as they are. When they get 2, 3, 4 years old, their hormones kick in. Males fight to be the dominant male for breeding rights. That's their instinct out in the wild, basically. And that's still the instinct they have. Well, if they're only around people and that's what they're imprinted on, guess who they're going to attack? The people,
Yeah.
the owner's friends, whoever's around. So you hear about these little babies when they're a year old, 2 years old, and then they just disappear and you don't hear about them anymore because it's usually they got aggressive, they couldn't find a way to recondition the alpaca, and they euthanized it. You know?
Wow.
So,
The one in Australia, if you watch the video carefully, there's several videos of the one
Yeah.
about Alfie.
Yeah. That's the one we know.
Well, if you watch the one clip of him carefully, you will see he's already come up to the man in a jump.
Oh.
Like that is not acceptable. Like none of these should ever come up to me
and try to jump
to
on.
jump at me. And he's the same size as these ones, Alfie. Like
Yeah.
they're not sheared yet. They look bigger.
Yeah.
But he's the same as them. So he's already wanting to play rough with that man. Like the alpacas will do that to themselves. When they're playing, you will see them sort of jump up and chest butt. Now this alpaca's already trying to do that.
Yeah.
If ours ever did that, they would be knocked right down. Hand would come up and they would know right away that they can't do it. We'd push them down type thing.
Yeah.
When
So
we came in, one was jumping on another one. That's just the way they play. And
Yeah.
but
That's not normal for humans to do.
no, they shouldn't be doing that with people. They should understand
Yeah.
that people are different, and you know.
they need boundaries. So. And we really check people who come to buy. We've turned away a couple who came all the way from Quebec,
Oh my gosh.
and they got here, and we said no.
What did they want it for? It's just.
They were buying 2 breeding males, and I spoke to another farm in Quebec, and they said, "Oh yeah, these kids they're good. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't go all the way to Quebec." When they arrived, they had basically taken a garden trailer, you know, so you put all your rubbish in, and put 4 sheets of plywood on it, and thought they would take 2 breeding males. So we're talking hormones here, you know. And they would take 2 breeding males home in that. And I said, if you were going on the next concession, maybe, but like to Quebec. And they said, but so-and-so said, and I said, well, no, they're not leaving here in that contraption. If you want to go rent a U-Haul and take them home or whatever, but they're not going in that. So they said okay, and they stayed for a while and visited. Then they started to take the pieces of plywood down because of the wind resistance. And the couple got into an argument because there wasn't enough room in there for both of them to be working, taking nuts and bolts and screws and what out at the same time. And they were thinking of taking 2 breeding males and the same thing all the way to Quebec. So,
Not the dynamic you're looking for with a.
no, and we had a woman who came in a couple of times, and she just popped in the one day. She'd never signed a contract, and she just popped in the one day with a whole bunch of her friends and said, "I just want to show them the ones I'm buying and that." And so it was just wrong rub with her, just the way she was and that. I just didn't feel that she was a good match for them, so we said no. It's not all about the buck. It's about making sure that they grow into responsible owners. And we had a petting zoo in Brampton. who wanted some. The manager actually lives up here. And I said, no, they're not petting zoo animals. They don't want to be handled all day. And so when you hear alpacas spit, it's generally because they're being mistreated, they're cornered, and they have no other way to defend themselves, so they spit. So she said, please come down and check out the farm. So they have an old McDonald's barn. So Kathy lives up here, so I went down and checked it out. So you can walk through and pet baby goats and calves and that. Well, the alpacas, it just doesn't work that way. That's not their nature. So I said, if you guys put in a separate pen area and what have you, they did. And we checked out their facilities, and you'll never find anything cleaner. They have a ton of volunteers that come in, high school kids, and their facilities are washed out every day or every other day. Every pen is like hosed out, not just swept out. I mean, literally hosed right out. They have containers with every animal's name on it. They get waste vegetables from local supermarkets. So every animal's name has their own container. And on the big whiteboard it says who gets what and how much and that. I mean, it's a great setup that she's got. So we did sell 2 of our older girls, and she just kept them long enough till she had babies. We had bred the females, and then she sold the mums on to a fellow who lives up here again. And she just kept the young ones. Like, she waited till the little ones were 2, and we're okay with being without their moms and that. And Princess Sarah there, when you look at her back, you can see the gray. So she looks, just when you're on the outside, she still looks sort of brownish. But she's actually just stunning silver gray.
So the visit itself was about 3 hours.
Yeah, I would say so.
2 or 3 hours. It was great because we got to have a private tour. I'm not sure if this is the case on all alpaca farms, but I kind of get the sense that it is. That in most cases you're not with like a large group. So it was really nice because we had one-on-one time with Carolyn and Doug and with the alpacas. We never felt rushed. We were allowed to spend as much time as we wanted, mingling with the alpacas and taking pictures. And then Carolyn gave us a whole tour of like the fiber processing rooms in their house. So we got to see what she does with the fiber after it's sheared, which was really interesting. So yeah, all in all, like the visit was definitely worth it. We got several hours and tons of information and plenty of alpaca time.
So much alpaca time. We have so many photos that we're trying not to post all over our Instagram and Twitter and
really
Facebook.
Hard. It's really
There's
hard.
so many.
I know.
There's so many, but I love all of them. So what were your final thoughts about alpacas? Were they everything you hoped for and more?
Yes. I think they were more.
Yeah?
Yeah.
In what way? Thinking on it so hard.
They just were so, like, they had the most endearing personalities.
Yeah.
Like, it was cuter than I could even imagine.
I was just so overwhelmed the entire time. Like, I'm just have my mic shoved in alpacas' faces.
Yeah.
Like, trying to capture their cuteness in audio is so hard.
Oh.
And I really hope I captured it.
I think
But their faces are so cute.
They just have the cutest faces, and especially there was this one alpaca, Yaz, and he was so friendly.
It was a she.
She was so friendly. And everywhere we went, she would just follow us and then lie down next to us. She wanted our attention so bad. And like, anytime I meet an animal that wants human attention, my heart just bursts.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And they're so soft.
Yeah.
You just shove your hand in their fur and just lose your hand.
Yeah.
There's just so much, like, wool on them. They're so warm inside. You're like, oh, you're so cute.
And their little hums are so cute. I couldn't get over those little hums.
Our voices are turning into the beginning of all the audio we recorded when we were in there. Just the most high-pitched voices from us.
And they're so inquisitive. I think that's part of what makes them so cute.
They're very curious animals.
Yeah. They're curious and they're actually like quite cautious, but like that's what makes it kind of cute is like it's like they know they should be cautious, but they can't help from like coming close to you. It's like they're like fighting this internal war all the time. Like, what is this human? I want to see this human. And then they get like closer and they're like, do I want to see this human? I don't know. It's just so cute. You can like see it going on in their heads.
It's so cute. It's so cute. So what do you think? Would you recommend visiting an alpaca farm in Ontario?
Okay, I've come to two conclusions. One, I will always recommend visiting an alpaca farm, especially kicking back if you're in Ontario. And two, I've realized that it was beautiful fate that we named this podcast what we did.
I know.
Because you know what's... Okay, this is really interesting. It occurred to me that alpacas are known for being curious, and that's kind of what this podcast is about.
Yeah.
Curiosity about the world.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
I love it.
So it was some beautiful fate, and maybe in the future we'll get to meet more alpacas. Maybe we should do the tour of alpaca farms in Ontario this summer.
Just road trip Ontario, visiting alpacas.
Oh yeah.
Just showing up to people's farms.
Yeah. Alright guys, so that's all about alpacas. I hope that you learned something neat about alpacas today. We certainly did. And I hope that you get to alpaca your bags and get yourself to an alpaca farm as soon as possible.
It's necessary.
Alright, we'll see you next week for a regular scheduled episode.